Welcome to the Tax Sale Podcast, where tax sale investing is made easy. My name is Casey Denman. I'm a tax sale veteran. I'm the tax sale expert, author of the Tax Sale Playbook, founder of the Tax Sale Academy, and I am your host right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast episode. As a reminder, this is a completely free podcast brought to you through and because of the Tax Sale Academy. So if you are looking to learn more about investing in tax defaulted real estate, including tax liens and tax deeds, make sure you check out taxsaleacademy.com. All right, let's get to it. So over the years, I've seen many brand new tax sale investors enter this business. Unfortunately, the number of new investors that enter this business pales in comparison to those who actually learn about the business, become overwhelmed, and quit before they even get started. The problem here is that on the outside looking in, this is an incredibly simple business. You buy and sell tax delinquent real estate. This, of course, provides revenue to the government so they can continue to meet their budgets, operate like the citizens in their area expect, while increasing your own wealth through your investments. The problem is that once a new investor starts to peel back the surface, they tend to realize it's much more than originally meets the eye. The complexities of the law, the nuances of title issues, the little things you discover here and there quickly lead to overwhelm within the tax sale business. It seems like you will never be able to understand it all, and then you decide it's not even worth trying. So first off, let me work backwards here. It absolutely is worth trying. It is 100% worth the effort. I've been doing this just about my entire adult life. Now, I'm not the type to sit here and brag about my Lamborghini because, frankly, I don't have a Lamborghini, but I can assure you I lead a very comfortable life because of this business. But better yet, and much more importantly than that, I've seen how it has impacted other people. I've had probably the best front row seat in the world when it comes to watching countless people go from zero knowledge of this business or even real estate to create incredible incomes through tax delinquent real estate. So I can assure you it is absolutely worth the effort. So today, I want to go over a few ways that you can ensure you do not get information overwhelm and that you will stick with it. The very first thing, an absolute necessity, is that you actually commit to sticking with it. I don't believe anybody sees any substantial or sustainable success when they bounce from one thing to another thing to another thing. There's a saying that the man who chases two rabbits catches none. If you are serious about your financial situation and you want to improve it, commit to learning everything possible about this business. I've got nearly 1,000 YouTube videos. I got hundreds of podcast episodes. I got a book, an entire academy that I put many people through. So the resources are there to make it easy for you. But regardless of the path that you decide to take, understand this is not an overnight success business. Those don't exist. This business, the tax sale business, requires skill, it requires effort, and it does take time to learn those things. This is one of the things that many people ignore. They want to make money similar to that of a brain surgeon who spends 10, 15 years in school, and they incur hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt as a result. But the people that want that type of income won't put forth the time that's necessary to learn this business and even make a financial investment in themselves if that is what is required. But I digress. Anyhow, when it comes to learning, I highly recommend that you learn in blocks of time. Now, sure, I do have Tax Sale Academy members that will sit down and try to learn 40 hours per week, but I typically suggest that regardless where you learn, you need to commit at least an hour a day every single day towards your learning, if possible. Now, your learning needs to also be very structured. Start with the very basic stuff inside the Tax Sale Academy. To give you an example, I break it up to multiple sections. We have 10 modules that serve as the meat and potatoes of the business. Everything from what exactly real estate is, which might even surprise a lot of people watching this, to understanding conventional real estate and how that operates and how that plays a role in your tax sale business, to the property tax structures, tax sales, and so much more, of course. It intentionally excludes the extremely detailed aspects of this business, like title searches, the deep dives into county records, marketing, and that type of stuff. Initially, those things like title issues, those are distractors for many brand new investors. These are the things that cause them to be overwhelmed. And they're obviously taught inside the academy in great detail, but initially, while you're building that foundation of knowledge, they're not as important as understanding the tax sale business itself. We can learn the details after you have that foundation. So start with the basics of the business. Browse the various county websites, read all the rules, read the frequently asked questions pages, review the auction results on a number of different counties. Try to search through some properties here and there and just go online, type the addresses in, go to the county websites and search the address there. Obviously, you're not going to be very skilled at it initially. That's okay. But the act of going through the process is really going to allow you to help everything click as you start learning it. What we do in the academy is we'll start off by explaining the basics, then provide a few examples, and then we'll have the members go out and find their own examples. It just reinforces it. There's nothing comparable to reading about something than seeing it in the real world, regardless of how skilled you are at this point. Now, during the initial phase, you'll begin to learn the basics behind the tax sale structures, which will allow you to determine which type of investment vehicle you'll want to invest in. And of course, you do this by reading those county websites, and it'll explain the basics of these businesses and how their tax foreclosure system operates. But obviously, you can decide what you want to invest in: tax liens, tax deeds, or redeemable deeds. Now, each of them have their own pros and their cons, so make sure you type those words into Google too: tax deed, tax lien, redeemable tax deeds, and figure out which one suits your style and your objectives the best. From here, you're going to start to dial it in to maybe some more markets that you have not explored yet. If the investment vehicle of your choice is local to you, that's fantastic. What I mean by that is if you want to invest in tax deeds and you live in a tax deed state, the best place to start is going to be your county courthouse. Again, maybe it's overly competitive. Maybe there's no good properties there, but it's local to you. It'll allow you to learn. I'm not saying this is where you invest, but start off the easiest spot possible. Now, if you live in, say, a tax lien state and you have zero interest in tax liens at all, go to my state guide. There's a link in the description of this episode, and choose a state that suits you the best. From there, simply choose any market. Again, this is not where you're going to be investing. This is just where you're learning. So previously, you clicked around a bunch of different county websites. You kind of browse some frequently asked questions. You at least have an idea of the business when it comes to tax sale investing. What you're trying to do now is actually get started. You're trying to put a few more of the pieces together. So choose a market in that state that interests you. And from there, go to their website, find a tax sale list, and again, begin to research it to the best of your ability. The idea here, when you're doing your research, is to find every single thing possible that you can out about a property. Remember, if you know every single thing about that property, it's pretty hard to screw up that investment. Naturally, when you start out, there's gonna be lots of questions. You're gonna look at the tax assessor's website, and you're gonna pull up the tax assessor's report, and a lot of it's gonna look Greek to you. But study every single line. If something is not clear, write it down. It might be something like, how should I value the real estate that I want to invest in, looking at the tax assessor's report? Well, you really can't do that. You gotta look at a few other things, but that's a question you need to write down. Or how do I locate the property? Again, write that question down. What does a code mean? What about this? What about that? Initially, as you get started, you will likely have more questions than answers, and that's okay. But write down what you don't yet know. The entire idea here is to help you discover what you do not know yet. Once you research that list, go to an auction. Even if you have all these questions in your mind about what is this, what is that, go to an auction. Listen to the auctioneer, read the rules, listen to the chatter that's going on in the room, listen to the other bidders' questions. At this point, you should have an idea about the business. So now it's time to fill in those knowledge gaps. It's time to answer all of those questions that you have wandering around in your mind. Obviously, this is where the formal training helps out. But if you decide to go the route where you learn on your own, my suggestion is to read through the tax sale laws in your area. Pay close attention to them, highlight what is important, like timelines, processes, and the specifics of the system in that state. From there, keep digging in. Again, if you saw something that you were not sure of, this is where you need to do the research. When it comes to how do I value real estate, go online. Look, how do I value real estate? I've got lots of videos here on YouTube, and of course we teach about it in the academy, but if something says buyer beware, what exactly does that mean? If you saw something where certain liens like mortgages are canceled, what does that mean? And then ask yourself questions like, okay, it says mortgages specifically are canceled. What other liens might exist, and where can I find that information? What is not canceled? The way to get better results when it comes to learning is to ask yourself better questions, right? So you need to do everything you can. All these questions are going to start popping up, and then go through them and nail them out one by one and figure out all the answers and how you can apply that to your business. And of course, when you start doing that, you're going to have more and more questions, and go one by one and just keep going through the process of filling in these knowledge gaps. If it says something like title insurance is not guaranteed, take one day, dig into that topic. What is title insurance? Why is it not guaranteed? Why wouldn't it be guaranteed? How do I solve that issue moving forward? What are some of the hurdles in solving that issue? If you need a suit to quiet title, if that's one of the solutions, because it is, if you come across that verbiage, research suit to quiet title. More than likely, there's going to be a lot of questions initially that you need to work your way through. But the whole process here is to break down the business in more digestible chunks. Learn the basics. Apply the basics to reality by getting lists, attempting to research those lists, going to auctions and learning. And then fill in all the missing dots, one topic at a time. Talk to other investors. Discuss things with title companies. Meet with an attorney. Do everything that you can to become an expert on this business. Over time, you're going to do just that, and your bottom line will increase because of it. Now, obviously, you can learn this stuff on your own. It will take time. It will take effort. It will take you on Google searching every single topic, learning everything about it. But if you've listened to this podcast or you've watched my YouTube channel for any period of time, you know I'm not the type of person to sit here and push my trainings on other people. But if you're looking to really fill in the knowledge gaps, that is what I do in the Tax Law Academy. That's the entire reason I created the Tax Law Academy, while I continue to improve it, where I actively help my members every single day. But yes, there is a lot to this business. It is easy to get overwhelmed if you just go into it and you take this shotgun type approach where you're pretty much drinking from a fire hydrant, right? But you need to break it down into digestible chunks. Learn the basics, go to a few auctions, start filling in gaps, start creating questions that you can then begin to research. But with some effort, and if you start small and you commit to continually build your knowledge with or without formal training, you will beat information overwhelm and you will succeed as a tax sale investor. Listen, I truly hope this helps you out. That is all I've got for you today. If this episode or any of the episodes here on the Tax Sale Podcast have helped you out, please do me a huge favor. We don't charge a listing or membership fee or anything like that for these episodes, but your positive reviews really do mean a lot to us. So you taking just a few seconds out of your day to tap a 5-star review or leave a positive feedback comment helps us out. And also, it even might help somebody discover this business and the opportunities in the tax sale business simply because you took the time to do so. And as always, if we can be of any additional help, make sure you check us out at taxsaleacademy.com. Hey, take care, folks, and make it a successful day. Bye-bye.